What's going on, everyone? It is Wednesday, 11 o'clock Eastern, and that means that we go live. Coffee with Creators. Welcome. This is 42 West 18th Street. It is not a green screen. You are always welcome here in these chairs or in that chat. But I got a guy with me. I got Matteo Banfo here with me. We're going to get into who he is. He's actually extended family here at Adorama. Trust me, you've seen his work if you're a fan of this channel, and you don't even know it, including one of my favorites. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, it's good, man. But I want to give a quick thank you to Hollyland for sponsoring this. You guys know Hollyland. From lately, they've been known for like a lot of like wireless lav systems, like small lav systems. We've actually used them a lot, quite a bit when streaming a few over the years, using their wireless video transmission system to just eliminate cables in our stream area. And they've been flawless. They've worked for hours and I've never had an issue with them. So personally, I'm a huge fan of what they put out there. Check out Hollyland, links down below for their full lineup. But if you're into video, if you're trying to grow your kid out, if you're trying to step up to another level of quality, check out Hollyland, links down below. And I also want to give a huge thank you to Tenba, because you, my friend, get the special limited edition custom Coffee with Creators Tenba bag.
Oh, thank you.
No, it's awesome. And Tenba is a legacy brand. We're talking about 1977, started right here in New York by an actual photographer. If you are a longtime shooter, you probably had Tenba somewhere in your kit at some point. They make everything from like rolling cases to bags like this and wraps, which I'm a big fan of. Check out the links down below for the full line of Tenba. And Gotham Roasters are hooking us up. Cheers, kid.
Cheers.
What'd you get?
Peppermint tea.
Peppermint tea.
Yeah, I'm not a
no
coffee.
Espresso.
No, I'm a weird Italian for many reasons. So tea is one of the reasons why I'm weird. Yeah.
Oh no, my favorite with you is the end of your bio literally says culinary disgrace to Italy.
Yeah,
it's like one of my favorites. Oh my gosh. However,
it's true though. It's true.
Who is this guy? I know you guys are all at the edge of your seat. So Matteo's a filmmaker, creative director. He actually is the founder of production company Bright Lights.
NYC, yep.
Yeah, Bright Lights NYC, and one of my favorite guys to have me film for Adorama TV. I'll say that right now.
Thank you.
If you watch the special effects hands-on workshop video, that's this guy. I think that was one of our first videos. I think the Sony one, actually, the Sony macro lens video.
There was a Sigma video, a Sigma lens we did together, which was an interesting one because I haven't even met you before.
Oh, that's right. You showed up at my studio and I was like,
yeah.
ready?
And I was like, you're Seth, right? And so it was a fun one. And then a couple of videos later was that one. That was really fun.
And I put him through it. I think I did like 5 setups in that video, and I made you go indoor, outdoor, through all this thing. And he stayed with you the whole way.
Yeah.
I got to say, he works very efficient, has a clear idea of what he's going to do, and doesn't just like film for the sake of filming and figures it out later. Like, this is someone that approaches things with intent, and that is a professional. So I'm very psyched that we got a chance to do that video, because I think it broke us into all the other stuff they ended up doing for Adorama, including, if you want, on the Adorama Events channel. This guy was live talking about how he went through being a one-man film crew for a documentary he did. We're going to go through some of the stuff that he's done. Don't forget, you guys are in that live chat. If you have any questions, that's why we're live. Drop them in that chat, and we'll get to them for sure. But this is your reel that you sent me. So it's basically an example of your work.
Yeah.
And we're just going to take a look at it while we spiel here. So what are we actually looking at here?
Oh, just a bunch of stuff that I do. I mean, most of my stuff is related to corporate work and corporate communication related stuff. So a lot of the stuff that I work with brands and companies that are in different spaces, whether it's you guys, whether it's, pharma people, whether it's, other type of corporate communication. This is kind of a collection of what I've been doing in the past few years. I mean, I started Bright Lights in 2020. I was a creative director for a different production company before that. I got laid off in 2019.
Here in the States?
Here in the States, yeah. I moved here when I was 27 in 2014, so a few years back. So the thing about it is that, it was a weird situation for me to start in 2020 because I think I opened the company like a month before the pandemic or something like that.
Nice
so
job.
great idea. And I had a kid at home, now I have 2. So, it was a very complicated time. It was a stressful time for me and for everybody, of course. But, it was a buildup and it took a little bit of time, but we got there. So I'm really happy about it.
Yeah, and I think what people can gather from this is that you have such a wide gamut of subject matter, genres, feel, style, but I think you have all the technical, and then you know when to apply what for the client's brand.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean that's my goal is try to listen to what people are asking me to do and try to bring whatever I have in my own style into what they want. whether it's commercial, something like this, or whether it's more corporate stuff. It's really just depending on listening to people and showcasing the best work that I can with them.
When in doubt, go slow-mo, right?
What's that?
When in doubt, just go slow-mo. Just use
That's my thing. 120, 120.
That's all you Italian guys. We got Sal DeLeo on staff. Half his life is in slow-mo.
Go 120, go 120. Yeah, because you get, you can always speed it up,
Well, I think you also get, you shoot short clips that end up giving you a full video. You know
right,
what I mean?
right. There's, I'm an overshooter. That's one of the things that I have with me that it's, I think one of my secrets is that I show up, I already have the camera running, and then you have to really drag me out of set the end of the day and I literally am filming on the way to the car, some establishers. so it's really just, because I'm so worried of being in the other room and not having the shot. Right. So I'd rather just, be there, do it, and, make it happen than, just, be mad when I'm in the editing room.
Oh, no, I totally feel that because I feel like as a guy that has to self-produce a lot now, if I don't have all the pieces, it's the same thing as if I didn't bring that lens that day in that bag.
Yeah.
If I forgot my mics,
right.
it's that gear. It's just the same thing as not having that clip.
Right.
But I got to say, you can get kind of crafty now. So if we did a lot of trade show stuff,
right.
If you say you go to Vegas, you can find some stock video on a website now to throw that established shot. Yeah. So you can get crafty in the back end nowadays.
Yeah. I mean, every year things get easier for everybody. And so it's, and with the new tools that AI brings into the table, even if you mess up a little bit, you can always try to save whatever you do. But I always try to not have to rely on, other tools, because sometimes, as you know, we have to go through a very quick turnaround. So if you go,
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Right. So if you have to go through that, it's complicated and it gets tricky. If you have to always try to fix things. So I want to have the least amount of fixing that I have to do.
I'm going to pull up the special effects workshop one, because I think that one, there's no way you could have prepared for this one.
No, I wasn't. No, I definitely was not ready for that.
So this was something we did actually, this was the first workshop, one of the first workshops we did since the lockdown, right? So we were all rusty on everything we were doing.
Yeah.
And we're over here putting out a bunch of setups with 10 characters, with vehicles involved and everything. And I can't even imagine. Oh, awesome. The Wi-Fi is hanging. Awesome.
There you go.
I can only imagine what was going through your head when you walk into a situation this hectic. I mean, corporate stuff's one thing. You have the person,
right?
You do a bunch of branding shots,
right?
You slow-mo the doctor while they go get a pen. Right. Here, how do you prepare for something like this?
You don't. You just, try to, have your eyes on the LCD, but also your eyes all around you so you can see what's happening around you. And, this was like, I think we did the walking around as things were getting prepared, so there was not too many people. But like once things started going, it was insane. Like, the amount of people and the amount of things that were happening simultaneously. So I remember running around constantly. It was a huge event space in Brooklyn, right?
Yeah, it was a terminal, Terminal 1. But
it was so much fun. Yeah.
I just remember as we were doing it, first of all, I was hectic, but the light kept changing, right?
Yeah.
So you're losing daylight. The sets are becoming more prominent light.
Right.
And I'm just thinking, like, he must be losing his mind as he's filming this thing.
I literally, you just have to try and, meet whatever the situation is offering you. So look at that, there's the whole window on the side.
Yeah.
So when we were doing the walking around, you had all the natural light on you, but then, as it was getting darker, and then you want to showcase a little bit of whatever the photos were doing. So, those like, two spotlights, whatever, they were resembling train lights. Remember that thing?
Oh yeah,
the car lights at the end of the tunnel. Was that what it is? Yeah.
Wow.
So you want to meet that? Yeah. This was so much fun.
No, and I think you did a great job. If I had to film this, it'd have been 2 hours, right? Like I think you have the ability to edit down and make concise and just get the point and impact. But, because I think we all want to show everything, but we forget viewers have an attention span, and then it starts having the opposite effect. You get an adverse, So I think you did a great job on that. And then I was like, this is my guy. I'm like, give me Matteo whenever I got to do something.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Well, it's fun, easy to work with you.
Because thanks, man. I think you probably work with a lot of people that aren't ready to be on camera when you're doing stuff like for pharma specifically, or chefs or stuff like that.
Yeah,
they all have an idea of like what a celebrity chef would be like on film, but then they're like, so what do you want me? You love that, right? You get everything set up and they go, so what do you want me to do?
Right.
What do you want me to
Right.
What do you do in a situation?
Where do I look?
Where do I look? Where do I look?
So I'm really I'm a big fan of looking off camera for people that are not used to being on camera. I think, looking at, we're getting better at it after Zoom and, but looking at an inanimate object in front of you, it's complicated and takes away the naturalness that you have in a conversation. Right. So I always have them, when I interview people, I always have them look at me, and I based everything on, as I mic them up, I always tell the same thing, which is this is a conversation. Camera's not here, just me talking to you. And the only difference is that you have to try to incorporate the question and the answer, since I'm not wearing a microphone. So if I ask you, what's your favorite color? And you just say blue, no one knows what you're talking about. So I need you to say my favorite color is blue. And then, I started crack a joke here and there. If I talk to people on the Ireland side and they hear my accent, they love about the fact that I'm from Italy. They bring, Italy, blah, blah. And
Can you tell he's from Italy?
Yeah, you do. Like, this is my thing, So
New York and Italy doing this.
Half of my movements are, because I talk like, yeah. So the, but it's crucial for me to nail the interview, the spoken part. It's crucial.
It's the spine of the entire video.
So whenever I do something for corporate stuff, the first thing that I always do is the interview. Get that down. If I have to sit down with you for 25 minutes to pull out a 1-minute video, I'll do it. And then probably what's going to happen in the first 10 minutes is chit-chatting, gets you warmed up, just like what we're doing right now. And then when it's time to actually ask you the questions that are for the video, we'll do them and we'll make them happen. And then once that happens, we'll... oh, that's racist, by the way. I'm just kidding.
This day.
Yeah, so the... I'm just kidding. So that's what happens. So what we try to do is we try to really make sure that people are comfortable, because I don't like when people sound too robotic or stuff like that. That takes everything away.
I bet you have a million times where like the last third of the interview is the best part because it finally broke down, but you needed all the information from the first part.
Listen, I can't tell you how many times it happened that the best soundbite that I've gotten was, anything else you want to say about this thing? And they're like, well, actually... And then they give me like the money shot. I'm like, awesome, thank you. And that's it. So I always ask that thing as the last thing I ask.
That's brilliant, because I think a lot of people don't know what to say. So they're looking for a multiple choice question.
Right.
They can just say what you need.
Right.
It's like, no, what I need is you and what you do and what this thing is. They just don't have that concept because they don't see the project.
Right.
Melanie's asking, Matteo, your clips are beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
How do you address white balance? Do you use white card? Do you shoot in log?
I shoot in log. When I'm in events like the one we did, I go with auto, because there's really not much no way for me to control everything, because it's changing and I know it's going to be a 6-hour thing where everything moves. If not, I set up the white balance, and I, have some, I move with it all day. Yeah.
Yeah, unless it's a setup shot.
Yeah.
In video.
Yeah,
you can get away with some filthy white balance because you're getting an environment,
right?
You're getting like a story of like the feel, like every time you shoot in like a subway, it's going to be greenish yellow. So give them that greenish yellow, right? But if you have a sit down interview, it's got to be pretty clean. And he actually did go over his lighting setup for interviews on the Adorama Events channel. If you guys want to go check that out, pretty small compact kit, because in the end, you're hoping for substance out of the content, not just the look of the shot.
Yeah, I mean, I try to. It's many times what happens is that I only have so much time to prep. And if I'm by myself, when I get a crew, it's awesome because I can focus on just doing, telling people what to do and making sure that things get done the right way. But also other times when I have to really get everything done and I'm by myself, there's only so much I can do. And I really want to, I want you to look great when I interview you, but I also really want you to not wait for me to make the perfect light on you, because if you're not used to being on camera, that gets frustrating. You're already walking into the thing where you probably slept not too much that night because you were thinking, I don't want to be on camera. And then, you have this 6'3" Italian guy talking to you, and, that you don't know, that he's trying to be friendly with you. So, it's really, it gets thicker and thicker, and people that are not used to being on camera, they suffer through it. And then, what you see is like, people that are like, freezing. So I don't want to have that. I want you to walk in, everything's ready, we chat and everything is like the smoothest possible way on my end, so that it feels like natural for you and you can be yourself. Yeah,
one mistake I see a lot of people make when they're doing this kind of work is they make their problems in the production somehow the talent's problem, like they vent to them a little bit. It's like, oh, if only I had, stop it. They don't care, they don't know, and you already put them in this weird mood of like, well, I don't want to, he's already got... it's like they don't want to know about the issue. Just make it look as good as possible. And when they say they look good, what it could have been maybe.
Yeah.
But just that's part of delivering, I feel.
No, I think the client always needs to know that everything's going the smoothest possible way. One time when my gimbal failed on me at the end of one location, I had to move to a location. So I was like, we were moving to a location. I was like, listen, I have to go get gas. and I went to Best Buy. I bought the crappiest, the best one that they had, which was not as good as the professional one that
you would get at Adorama.
You got Adorama so much better for sure. And then so it was the only thing that I could have gotten, and so I got that one, and I came in and they wouldn't even know.
Do you really think you need the gimbal though? Like, if you had to, you don't think you do handheld movements? I mean, especially with stabilization in the camera, you could get away with not.
You could. It's just that I think we talked about it when we were doing the Vegas trip together. We really, there was a conversation because before I did it, it was you guys were doing it handheld or on a monopod, maybe handheld. Yeah. But I really wanted to bring in the stabilizer. Well, listen, I think, cleaner shots makes everything easier. I know the stabilization that both the softwares and the camera have solved the problem for you a lot. But I really love the moving around. I really love, one thing that we did, one for the opener and the closer of the Vegas thing was have you walk and have dynamic shots on that. All that stuff, I think it's really cool. And I think the cleaner, the better on that. And so, it simplifies my job a lot. I'm a big believer in gimbals. That's what I.
Oh, I mean, I've seen you lug that thing around. For 16 hours.
Yeah.
You're dedicated, but also I feel because I understand how it is with strobe. Like you have I don't want to call them pacifiers, but it just makes like I know what I can get with this, and you're almost symbiotic with it. So the movements you can get with it. So when it's gone, you're kind of like overthinking, compensating for that. You don't have that tool, and then you start getting shots that are good enough, and you're not thinking about what you could be doing. I think we get our heads too caught up in the tools, but when you lean on them and they become your look, it's tough. I know people that shoot with like lens filters for a certain look. The second that filter's not there, they kind of feel like, I don't know, it's like a little too sharp and clean. I don't know, and it's like, okay, but let's just roll with this. But if it doesn't feel like your language, your voice, your shot, right away as the person producing, your head's out of the game. Yeah,
I had a couple of shots where the client really wanted me to use Promise filters on it, and I felt like it was my first time doing it. So the first couple of days on it, I was like, man, this doesn't really feel right and clean to me. But then I'm like, yeah, it's pretty much the same thing that I would have done in post. It's just on camera, so it's a process thing, and it is what it is.
I think you also, I watched you edit. I gotta tell you, that's the part that kills me, and the Sophie's choices you've had to make to just make a video more coherent, tighter, figure something out. And then you get a note that tells you like completely scrap that.
Right.
What's that stress like? Have you gotten to a place where you have like a formula for your editing, or is it like project by project basis? Or
so I have, I have a broad array of type of clients that I work with. So it's tough for me to have one cookie cutter solution to problems that are going to come up in the editing world. What happened a lot is the fact that when I edit, I try to really make sure that it's something that I would be happy to watch. So I'd rewatch it a bazillion times as I'm editing, which drives me insane. And then to the point that, I start being extremely frustrated and I really don't perform well, like I start screaming at the monitor. So I'm really glad now that I have, people that help me out with the edits. So I have people that work with me on edits. And one of them was one of my best friends, who helps me out a lot, and he edited my documentary. So it's really great for me to rely on other people, because that's the part of the job that stresses me the most. I could do really well on set. I could do really well editing, but also I know that I'm getting super stressed out when I'm editing. Yeah, but you have to have an editor that knows you. Yeah. If it's your project, right? Oh yeah. So we've been me and my guy Marco. Hi, if he's watching. We've been working together for about 10 years now, on and off. At first I didn't have anything to give him, so we were just friends. And when I started having enough jobs for me to hand off to him, he was able to help me out. And so some of the jobs that are trickier for me to edit because I don't have time, or some that are more complicated, he's also really good at graphic design, so that really helps me with some other clients that really want some graphic heavy video. So that really, made my job much easier.
Graphic heavy video. Oh man.
I know they're soulless.
It's like, it's an infomercial. Like
It's an infomercial. Yeah.
Yes, we
Yeah.
got it. You bought a pack of transitions. Like,
Right.
I don't know what to say
Right.
here,
Right. And nowadays it's really tough for people to come up with something original, because you have to make the graphic elements in a quick way, and you also need to make them, again, something that stands out. But like, templates are everywhere, and everything is templated now, so you can find whatever you want. And so that role is already one of the roles that, people who do it really well are like becoming rarer and rarer, because they're moving on from something else. 3D still has some professionalism that, is, you have to be the best at it to make it awesome. But 2D is tougher now.
It's funny because like, I feel like we're getting to this place where there's so many more people doing content and video and everything, to a point where when you watch a YouTube video, you'd be like, oh, I know that was edited in DaVinci because I know that animated title, So after a while, it's like, how do you stand out if you're using all the template stuff? And I think that's where the next level comes into place. Like, how do I customize it more?
Right.
But how do you feel in this era? Because I think it drives all of us crazy, especially all us old schoolers. Everything has to get shorter and shorter and shorter. And you're trying to tell these stories and these things, but you have 60 seconds and it's got to be vertical.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of vertical, by the way. I mean, I had to embrace it because that's what the industry asks sometimes. But at the same time, this is not the way we see the world, according to my 2 cents. So it's tough for me to embrace vertical altogether. I feel like I'm, jailed in a way, because it's so tight and narrow. But there's opportunities with that, and I love when that happens. But also, the storytelling aspect being shorter and shorter, you don't really have the opportunity to know the person, so you're showcasing. So every story, I mean, my 2 cents is that, stories are people, so you're telling the story through the eyes of anybody, whether it's a doctor, if it's a pharma thing, whether it's a, a lab technician, if it's, again, another pharma thing, or whether it's, a student. It's one of my documentary clips that I've shown in the live. So whatever it is, you have to hear the story from the mouth. But at the same time, what happens if I have to cut it super tight? Everything that makes this person human it's gone, because the pauses, the hesitations, the oh my god, I don't know what I'm doing right now, and the eyes looking for answers somewhere around the room, like I'm doing right now. So all those things disappear, because I have to type everything out and make the sentence work, and then I have to cover it with B-roll so that it's we don't see, or apply a morph cut. So it's you lose some of that human aspect in the storytelling because you're making it super tight.
Yeah, I think what ends up happening is that the human you have in there, whatever it is, the story, whatever, they just become like an audio file rather than the person. Like, you're just looking for words and certain things to get it turned off. And don't forget, like, the first 10 seconds has to be grabbable.
Yep.
So you sacrifice an eighth of the 60 seconds you have just trying to get people to watch it.
Right.
And then it's like, what are we doing? But the one advantage that I find, because I have to deliver content for other channels sometimes, I get to charge a little bit more because they need that on top of whatever else. They need a vertical for social as well as the thing I was going to give them for something else. So it's almost like an extra deliverable for us instead of like, oh, I have to go do this.
That's true. It's definitely, a way for us to package it differently and make it, more profitable. But at the same time, it's not something that I'll be, looking at when I'm like 60 and be like, I'm so proud of it.
One day we're going to have phones that just project in your hand, and they'll be like, why do we need vertical ever again? It's just here in Netherlands. It's kind of wild. It's amazing how much you quickly saw the generation divide of like filmmakers. They were like, I'm fine with vertical. It's like, you're a YouTube kid. And then all the old guys like, oh my God, the death. Vertical.
I know. Listen, and like I said, I'm not against it, religiously, but it's like, it's not the way I like to see things out into the world. I grew up going to the movies, and that's, what you see,
I think we're still in this weird era of trying to figure out a format, because there was that weird platform Quibi or whatever it was.
Yeah.
It was like 7-minute movies. Yeah. And I'm like, the idea was so that someone who doesn't have a lot of time can watch something worthwhile on like a train. So they had like Bill Murray doing these videos and stuff, and that failed. I'm like, okay, so 60 seconds isn't enough substance.
Right.
7 minutes isn't worth. You're either all in or you're not, kind of a thing. Like, or you binge watch for 10 hours straight.
Right. There's no in between now. So it's either, oh, it's a 7-minute thing or 5 minutes or 2 seconds, or it's going to be 15 seasons and then 10 hour per episode. And then you're going to be watching because that's what we do.
I think people are starving for that. Like, look at what happened with Game of Thrones. People watched 2-hour episodes.
Oh,
of
yeah,
that show.
for sure. And then got disappointed.
Well, that was that final season.
Yeah, the final season was not great, but
it's always amazing when the source material runs out. Look at Walking Dead. The source material ran out, and we're 3 dead seasons. No pun.
Yeah.
What are you doing, man?
At one point, they were just walking around, and I'm like, what are you walking?
Because it's The Walking Dead, bro.
Of course, but you are human. You're alive. Just don't stop walking around. And we were watching, and I was like, man, the character development. And I loved it because I'm a big Stephen King fan. And so the first thing that I talking about The Walking Dead, can we do like a sidebar?
No, absolutely.
So when I talked about The Walking Dead, there was the whole conversation about, character development was really, I read some interviews that were inspired by the way Stephen King does his character development in books like The Stand, where you have like bazillion characters all together. And so it was really, I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. I'm a Stephen King fan. This is great. But then, at first I saw it and I was like, this is awesome. And like you said, source material was there and everything flew really well. And then, after a while it became, so where are we going? Like, like a bad dinner. Like, so what are we doing now?
Yeah. It made the comics have a harder fan base.
Absolutely.
Because they were like, oh, finally a new issue came out that isn't a bad season.
Exactly.
But one of the things that my favorite, speaking of character development in Walking Dead, that like broke my head a little bit, was when they finally get to a civilized town. And then you realize just how primal they became and feral they became from being out there in the wild compared to these people that have lived in these gated walls. And you're like, wow, you've been watching this guy forever and you didn't realize just how savage they are just to survive. Right.
And you with them because you saw them and you were embracing everything that they were doing. Like, that's fine. That's fine. You're like, that's fine. And then, became that when they got into absolutely.
I mean, the Last of Us tried to like kind of get into this as well. Yeah. I don't feel it's as successful.
I mean, I'm a huge fan of the game, so it was tough for me to watch it. I think the season 1 had some very, very amazing,
but it was right out of the game. They were literally just doing shot for shot.
Exactly.
But the tone didn't feel right.
Right.
I don't know. This is gonna be controversial, but I don't think
I'm already seeing the chat going crazy.
Well, I don't think Pedro Pascal should have been Joel.
Really?
There's something about his tone that I couldn't take the same as the guy in the games was the Marlboro Man, right? Like, that was the Red Dead dude,
Right.
And then I got Pedro Pascal and there's just something I didn't connect on it.
My guy was saying they should have used the voiceover actor that he did the.
Why don't they do that? Do you know why do you know any reason?
He couldn't carry it. Probably they needed a big name. Yeah.
Well, I also think because they have a roster that's signed probably to HBO. So
Sure.
Them.
Yeah.
And you know who would have been a great Ellie? The girl that was in Alien Romulus. If you watched Alien Romulus, the whole time I'm like, if I pull this frame, that's Last of Us.
Oh, okay.
It was. And by the way, if you haven't seen Alien Romulus and you're an Alien fan, that is the first proper Alien movie we have gotten in like a decade. It is incredible.
Oh, I haven't seen it, so.
Oh my God. Matthew's studio equipment is saying Bluey episodes are 7 minutes, 3 seasons, and my kids would watch them endlessly. I keep hearing that the story development in Bluey is incredible.
Yeah, it is. My kids love it.
What is Bluey? It's a cartoon, right?
It's a cartoon.
All right,
yeah.
I'm gonna have to watch this.
Yeah, I have to watch it. Yeah, you have to watch it. Yeah, Blue is pretty good. Yeah, 7 minutes, 3 seasons. My kids would love. Yeah.
Oh my God, Craig C is saying the last season was almost impossible to end a great series. Breaking Bad probably had the best finale. The thing about Breaking Bad having a finale is they absolutely wrote an ending. They wrote it. They were okay with making an opus.
Yeah.
And also Breaking Bad, what people don't realize is they had like 2 seasons. They were going to cancel it. They fought to continue that show because they believed in it. And if you watch the way they filmed that show, they didn't do filler. The first episode was like minutes of footage that made no sense, that slowly made sense as you went along.
Yeah.
Everything had intent. I think if you go into any project with intent, the audience is with you. You're not making things up. I'm not gibberishing. I'm not on the fly. You're in it. Breaking Bad is by far one of my top ever.
Oh yeah.
Ever.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
What do you think is
Except for the episode with the fly in it. Remember that one?
The fly.
There was an episode where it was like they were like in the lab and there was a fly flying around, and the whole episode was like them try to chase the fly around. It was like
him and the soft-spoken guy,
yeah,
the heavyset guy.
I don't remember that, but it was like, you know, it was like all inside. I'm like, oh man, that episode. I don't know.
That was so long ago. Speaking of Stephen King, we got Derry coming up on HBO. We got a whole new It series.
Listen,
I don't know how I feel about this.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Doesn't it feel like it's a little going to be watered down?
I have my, well, it's tough. It's tough to talk about this thing because it's my favorite book.
Let me preface by saying we're both guys that went to a punk museum together.
Yeah.
And we're about to talk about horror.
Yeah.
Just understand what's about to happen here.
So it's my favorite book.
It is really your favorite book? Wow, okay.
So it's tough for me to...
I think it went off the rails at the end of it, personally, but okay.
Did it?
It has a space turtle. It has a turtle
symbolism,
flying in space.
Symbolism.
He was on something right in that book.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I think he admitted it. And it's not his favorite book because he was going through a lot.
It feels like 3 books that he kind of stitched together.
Well, that's the main reason why the movies have always failed too, because they try to make it into, well, the 90s one was the thing that scared me the most when I was little.
Tim Curry.
That
was the guy that literally lived on your block. That's why that was scary.
Oh, that was so scary. Like I remember watching and I was like, I probably was 6 or 7 when that came out.
I remember being on network TV.
Yeah, it was network TV. I was like, and I was like, I was so scared, to this day, But like when I read it, I felt that, the jumping back and forth between timelines was so great. And what the movies do is they always try to do the past movie one and the
current day one.
When
they're adults.
The adults is the current, and I think you lose some of that because it's like it's the returning. It's how it's pretty much
it's a sequel that's stitched together.
Right, but it's not really a story, and the story of the book goes well. And my opinion is that it goes well because you see them grow, and then you see them as adults as they grow. So it's the same. You understand them so much better.
The remake, I was so much more into the first one than the sequel. I think the sequel just did not hit at all.
Well, it's the same problem with the 90s movie though. It's the one with the kids, it's stronger than the one with the adults. Always. I think because kids are they deliver emotions in a different way or something. You connect well differently. I don't know.
I think there was more into seeing the Genesis origin,
right,
and then seeing a revisit,
right.
And I don't know. There was also, and this is gonna sound so snobby, but there was something to seeing like a CGI lumberjack in the second one that made me go like, "What is this?"
No, one thing. It's one of those things where it works super well when you read it in a book and you're like in it, and then when you see it, like the ending, for example, it's something that in the book I was embracing and I was like, no problem with it. And then when you see it on TV, you're like,
yeah, but don't you think that the first one had more filmmaking aspects to it? Like when you see the slide projector, right? And he's whipping his hair and it's slowly,
yeah, that was crazy.
Amazing, right? And then the second one just felt like a movie. It didn't feel like filmmaking. It's I don't know how to put it. It's Halloween 1. You watch that movie, there's nothing crazy about it except dense, heavy, empty spaces that your brain starts racing about. Kids today probably would be like, I don't understand why this is scary. But when I was growing up, like, what do you think? It's like making you imagine it. So it's inside your skull and you're freaking out. And that's why I loved Halloween so much. I think my father raised me on Halloween and Hellraiser. And I was like, yeah, don't get me started.
Yeah.
This is why I am. But I think horror is one of those amazing genres that, one, you don't need a lot of budget.
Right.
And 2, it's so psychological that if you can understand psychology, storytelling, and horror,
right,
you can have impactful psychological storytelling in any genre.
Right.
That's what I think. I mean,
it can also be done very easily in a very poor way because, people sometimes assume that all I need to do is just scare you. And so the jump scares are like, the easiest thing, I have a good audio that come up at the right time with the right visuals. You're scared now, but like I think the best horrors are the ones that have a great plot and a great story. We go back to the storytelling aspect.
Yeah, it's always,
a great story that you can connect with, and then when you connect with it, you're like even more scared because it could happen to everybody.
That's why Saw 1 was so impactful.
Saw 1 was insane. Yeah.
What would you do in that situation?
Right.
What everybody asked 15 times in that movie, right? Like,
right.
Would you cut off your own leg? Would you do it? Could you do it?
Right.
Like,
Right.
what is happening? It got so bad so quick
Oh yeah.
after that.
Yeah.
I think Saw 2 is a lot of people's favorite, which I don't understand. If someone in that chat wants to tell me why Saw 2 is your favorite, please do.
Yeah.
But after that, we have 9 of these.
Right. That's crazy.
It's just like Jason.
They're milking. Yeah.
You know, who's your favorite horror villain of all time? It's tough, right?
Favorite horror villain of all time.
We just lost Candyman last year, unfortunately.
Oh man,
It's tough,
well,
right?
Pennywise. I'm gonna go with Pennywise.
I can't tell you how great that character is.
Yeah.
Like, everyone just thinks that if you don't really know horror and you just see it all around, you just think that it is just a clown.
Yeah.
You don't realize what it actually is representing.
No.
But you see a raincoat, a red balloon,
Right.
and a paper boat, and you are already freaking out.
Right.
It's so dope. And I think it's also one of those things that that note of what is your biggest fear materialized has gone through the rest of horror.
Oh yeah.
You know?
it's like, it became canon for anything.
But now we have real life horror. I don't know if you're watching those Netflix serial killer docudramas.
We watch all of them all the time. Like that's our watch. All the time.
You saw the Ed Gein one, huh?
We saw the BTK one. We saw all of them. We saw all of them. Yeah.
I'll tell you, I binge watched the Gein one, and I was psychologically damaged. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't even want to eat anything anymore.
Yeah.
I don't even want to eat.
It's interesting how documentaries in general have become more and more popular. I think people are tuning away from fiction more and are tuning in more to real stories. I think it's to me it was really interesting. People connect more with that. They embrace it more. I think they maybe start to read through more some bad writing sometimes. So you can go. You don't have to write too much of a. If it's real, it's real. So there's not really bad writing that comes with it.
I think there's a crazy idea of, wow, this is actually reality. Like, you couldn't even write this.
Yeah.
And then 2, I think we're in an amazing point in history where we have the ability to actually find archives now and actually build back what might have happened and things like that. When we watched documentaries when we were kids about crimes, they were like, maybe this happened. We found a photo of this, but we don't know anything.
We don't know. Yeah.
You know, you watch all the mob documentaries now, they know like everything.
Right.
It's kind of crazy. And I think that when you can't debate what they should have done because it's a fiction, and it's like, no, this is what really happened, you can't debate it.
Right.
That, I think, really messes with people. And I also think that it's a pseudo education. I think people use it as like school.
Yeah.
It's like, you understand, I saw a documentary about orcas, so I know everything now.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
I don't know. Oh man. So Johnny's saying the It remake was fun, cleaned up, made it for current audiences. Yeah, I believe that.
I get it. Yeah.
And I definitely think there is something to his design and the way he was morphable in this one as opposed to the Tim Curry one. But the Tim Curry one was low budget, guys. Like
low budget.
Low
Yeah.
budget.
Yeah.
Apparently one of the best modern horrors now is Good Boy. I haven't seen that one.
Me neither.
If you guys have horror movies that you think we should check out, definitely put them in the
let
chat.
us know.
'Cause we'll be checking that out. But there's also an aspect to people trying to even define what horror is, I think.
Right.
I think some people don't understand what a thriller versus horror is.
Right.
There's definitely just like some stories out there that just get you shook. I mean, look at something like Old Boy.
Right.
Think about that. Like, you're locked in a box, you come out to the world. Like, that's horrifying, but it's not like a monster. But
Right.
Not that you would fight legions of guys going through a hallway.
Right.
But look at what that one scene did for the rest of.
Sure.
I mean, Raid. I don't know if you're watching the Raid movies, Raid Redemption or whatever like that. All one take martial arts. John Wick, long takes. And John Wick, no one thought was going to be a good movie.
Absolutely.
I remember when it came out, no one watched it. Then 2 days later, everyone's talking about this movie.
Oh yeah. I think it was not super promoted too, right?
No one thought it was going to be. It's like, oh, it's Keanu Reeves movie. Oh, whoops.
Right.
Whoops. What do you think's the future of, like, I mean, are you someone that even cares about cinema as a filmmaker? Because I feel like you're a pro. You're trying to feed your kids, man. You're going job after job. Is there like a project you're looking to do? Is there some feature script sitting in that drawer that you've never touched?
So it's interesting because I, for the longest time I felt like I was missing out on something by not having it, and I, it's
there's a pressure in your head.
It's a pressure because all my friends from film school, they had this big projects and big ideas they were achieving, and I was like, I love what I'm doing. I love doing what I'm doing. and I love working with the people that I'm working with. I love the life on set. That's pretty awesome. I thrive off of that. But at the same time, I couldn't find a story that I was like, this is worth telling. And it happened, and it lasted many, many years. I was really frustrated at first. I mean, it was something that, really put me, in doubt, or even, am I in the right field, But then when I found the story that was worth telling, the one that I did through the documentary, which was well over 10 years that I started being in the industry, then I realized that, sometimes you don't have to force it, and you don't have to, you'll know it. I'm like one of those things that, when it's a good story, you'll know.
Yeah.
I had some great ideas. I had some horrible ideas, but I never had the time, luckily, to really go in and, focus on them, because I was so busy doing all the client work that I was doing,
Also, the client work helps you build for what you're going to do later. So think about, you've met hundreds of people through filming this.
Right.
The second you need a location, hey, you remember I filmed you for that pharma thing? I need a doctor's room for this. Could we use it? You have those connections.
Right.
I think people overlook that a lot.
Yeah, no, they do, and it's the overall. I really love, again, the craft. It doesn't have to be for my own thing. I'm a very big critic of my own work and myself. I'm never pleased with what I'm seeing. So that's why when I was told, send me some clips, I started freaking out, and I'm like, I don't have anything that it's worth
That's
watching.
how we all are, though. I hate all my photos.
Right. I hate everything that I do. So even when I have some idea that it might be a good idea, that I think might be a good idea, I'm always like, I don't think it's a good idea. Is it though? And then I'm like, I'm sure there's somehow, somewhere has done it way better than I could have done it.
No, I think there's also a thing with guys like us that there's like what I call the blank page fiasco, where it's like, no, give me the guidelines, and then and it's basically a puzzle I solve. I can solve puzzles, but if I have to come up with something from scratch, I'm kind of like, I have to care about it.
Sure.
And it's very hard for me to care about something when I'm exhausted, trying to pay my rent, trying to figure out the next thing.
Oh yeah. And then I have kids, so I want to, is this thing worth taking time away from the time that I spend with my kids? Because I'm always on the road, and when I'm not on the road, I am, I try to be home and spend time with the family. So the question is, do I want to feature, this in my life, and make this a priority versus spending time with the family? And sometimes, it's a tough question. And
it's
never find the thing that I'm like,
Well, we had Gary Hughes here a while ago, and he has like 50 kids. But he gives them assignments with a camera, and it's like a way that he stays kind of in it, but also helps his kids understand what he's doing. So it's like, show me something with perspective, and they go out for the day with a point and shoot, and they come back.
That's cool.
And he goes through with them, and I'm like, that's so smart, and it's a really cool thing to get your kids active instead of like staring at a screen.
Yeah. So my 6-year-old is, has gotten into it. I gave him my very first professional camera that I started doing videos in, which is the Canon 60D.
Wow.
We're talking a while back, it's all magnesium body, so it's heavy. So I'm like, you're a 6-year-old, go out and shoot with that camera now. It's your point and shoot now. So I gave him that, and he started playing with it, and he was really, he loved it. And so I gave him another camera, like a, I don't even remember what camera it was, but like he still likes the 60D more because he feels like tanky. Yeah. So they love it. It's just that, and they're really curious about what I do, especially in the edit room, because, they see me working, and they see all the fancy, station that I have. Fancy is a big word, but like, the station that I have at home where I edit with multiple monitors and stuff. So it's, they look at it and they're curious about it. But, again, one thing that I really love doing with Noah, with my big one, is we write stories. And so he comes up with the characters, right? And so, because he wants to make a movie, because he sees me filming, and there's a big poster of our documentary at home. So he sees that, and I'm like, all right, so who are your characters? So he comes up with these characters that are like weird animals that he likes and stuff like that. And so I'm like, so what are they doing? So I try to start asking him questions, and I force him to craft a story with them. And I think it's something that we should all be doing, because, it's the way we were brought up. And it's the way, not as people, but like as humanity, like from the very first time, from the first drawings, it's all about telling stories, right? So being able to craft a story and being able to give your characters a name and a soul and something that they fight for, it's crucial to me, and so that's what we do. Like with Noah, we write a lot of like scripts, like very very short ones, but like
6, bro.
6, right? So that's a great thing. That's a great thing we like doing together.
I can only imagine the stress you put them under.
Yeah,
You sit there in your director's chair.
I need
nope.
I need my draft by tomorrow.
You're like, from the top, come on. You want to be famous, don't you? You know, but aren't you worried? And I do actually worry about this when I talk to the little kids about stuff, killing the magic. Like they see how they don't get a chance to be like insane about like something they saw from Disney. They're like, that's just a
maybe I never thought of that aspect. Maybe I'm doing something wrong.
But
what
the special effects, it ruined everything for me.
Oh yeah, I get it. I get it. Because you saw the prosthetics everywhere. Yeah. No, I don't think he was gonna kill the magic, but at the same time, maybe give him more tool to see through bad storytelling.
Okay,
which
cool.
I think it's more common than ever now.
You're raising a snob.
Well, New York City.
New York City, Italian. All right. He was sitting right here like, what are you doing? More emotion, Dad. What are you doing? And your eyes should be ready. You should be holding something.
Yeah,
what is this?
Yeah. No, it's Now you're making me overthink my parenting style. I'm done.
You know, what am I gonna do? I gotta do it through somebody, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So in your home, I'm imagining you have a shrine to Scorsese, right? Something like
right. Because I'm Italian, right? That's why.
First of all, I think he's one of the best directors.
Oh yeah. Well, listen, you're bringing up. We I have this thing where every recurring I have to watch Goodfellas because it's like it's like a moment of reconnecting with the purpose of everything that we do. But there's like I think we were brought up, and again, I'm a child of the 80s, just like you are, right? So there's
90s.
Your 90s, yeah. What year were you born?
What are you doing this to me? What are you doing?
Come
what
on,
are you doing?
we're the same age. Are we the
Leave me
same
alone.
age?
Leave me alone.
Both have gray in our beards, so we're probably the same age. Anyway, so we are, I think we were brought up in a great era for movies and stuff. So we really watch, and I try to bring my kids up with some of those movies
like
too.
Zemeckis and all that stuff.
So we're actually gonna go. I'm taking Noah to the 40-year Back to the Future at AMC at the end of the month. Yeah.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah. They're showing it, and I think, and it's interesting because I have this thing where it comes back. Like in 2015 for the 30th, I went to Radio City Music Hall and I saw the orchestra playing the score live as the movie was playing, which was amazing.
That's got to be amazing.
It was insane. And this time they're doing the showing at AMC for the 40th of Back to the Future, and I'm taking Noah there, and I'm so excited about it.
I think we have to make movies events now. I think so. Like when Barbenheimer was going on, that was one of the most fun moments of theater that I've had in a long time. I remember going down and you saw all these amazing women dressed incredibly to go see Barbie, and then you saw all us art kids in all black going to go see a nuclear bomb movie. And I'm like, you watch this, but it was just like incredible that it was like this moment you had to be part of. Then the next week you watch them switch sides because they heard about the other movie.
Sure.
But I just think there has to be like this reason to go, and I think part of it is the experience when you leave the theater. So I try to see The Warriors in Coney Island every now and then. Of
course.
Because when you leave, you're literally surrounded by it. There's like something about it.
Yeah.
So I hope that we can get to a place where I'm worried that we're going to lose theaters.
For sure.
I just went to go see Tron because I have the...
How was it?
I think, and you guys can hate me, but I think Tron is an outdated IP. I think, especially now that we're literally living in AI.
Sure.
I think it's just an outdated IP, guys. And if you love it for the nostalgia of it, awesome. But I was in a completely empty theater. I was the only guy sitting there, and I was part of A-list, so I didn't even buy a ticket. I'm just having a subscription.
Sure.
And I'm just going like, I really hope.
What do you think of the score? Because
it was very cool.
Yeah,
very cool. But
always deliver. Yeah.
The score is not going to bring a movie over the goal line for me. Just like a score doesn't do it for video games for me. But for sure. And I'm going through a whole disappointment series of all these things I really like that are coming out with sequels. I think the latest Little Nightmares I don't think is good, and I love that series. Like there's. At some point, they don't come up with new IPs. They bring us these old IPs, and are they still relevant? Do they still connect, which is the most important point? Like if you brought your kids to see Tron, Ares, and then you showed them the old Tron with the really, really dated stuff going on in there, would they appreciate it?
No.
And
maybe, but like, you know, it's the pacing too. The pacing doesn't really do well. Because I showed like Never Ending Story to
oh wow.
because I wanted to traumatize them, you know. And I don't remember how how traumatizing the movie is, you know.
Labyrinth was traumatizing also.
For sure. But like that one, that's
You had Muppets in that one.
Yeah,
so
of course.
just saying.
That's true. That's true. But like the scene with the horse dies in Never Ending Story, like my son was like, "Why did you make me watch this?" I'm like, I don't know. Like I was crying, he was crying. Like, why are we doing this? I'm like, I don't know. I used to suffer a lot when I was a kid, I guess.
You know, it's funny. If you look back at the Disney cartoons we watched growing up, they all were tragic. Bambi's mom dies. But like Land Before Time. What?
Land Before Time? Yeah, of course. What? Of course. You remember that you probably do, Sal. That movie from the early 90s with Macaulay Culkin when he tried to go indie. Well, maybe not indie, but like it was I think it was called My Girl.
Oh my God, where he dies.
And he dies. And like, because
Dan Aykroyd's an Undertaker.
He's allergic to bees. He's allergic to bees. I'm like, that thing, you know, all of a sudden she walks home and the mom's like, yeah, he's dead.
No, the precursor, when he orders a child's casket because she lives at a funeral home, he orders a child's casket and she goes, what's that for? He's like, well, a child. And then you're like, oh, they're going to kill some kid in this, aren't they? And then Macaulay Culkin, and that scene was rough, man. Wow, My Girl. I haven't heard that. I haven't thought about that movie.
No, I mean, because
was it Dan Aykroyd? Am I wrong? Dan Aykroyd? Wasn't he the Undertaker?
No.
Am I wrong?
I don't know. But anyway, I think they were playing with our feelings a lot when we were.
Well, you're rooting for the dad to meet this woman.
Of course.
You're rooting for her to grow up and be like and just like, oh my God, what are we doing? Never Ending Story is traumatizing. Well, Matthews is saying something. They're like, my daughter loves knowing behind the scenes, learning about grip sparked her interest in magic. That's very cool.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I also think that in this era, you guys have to realize kids are around some sort of production, whether it's holding your phone out and filming something. I mean, you didn't have this access to 24/7 ability to go and record.
All right.
You know, you just Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah. That's right. And that's right. And then she had a bad ex-husband and he came around. Yeah. And it was filmed beautifully and it's timeless. You could watch that. And man, I got to watch this movie again. I'm going to watch it. It's really, I mean, I was a kid. I don't know.
Yeah.
Then he did Party Monster. Remember that one?
Yeah, sure.
He's weird. Macaulay Culkin's weird, man. Yeah. All Dogs Go to Heaven was a good
one. Oh, man. Yep.
That was rough.
Yeah.
Dark Crystal. Yes. I actually shot a bunch of Dark Crystal Muppets of like 10 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, that was... Yeah, I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
But the thing is that I think you guys realize that if you're saying all these things in the chat and we're having such reactions to things, like that's the goal. And I worry that kids aren't going to have that same reaction watching a movie on their phone.
Right.
You know, you don't get that.
Right. I think you miss the collective experience, you know, which is something that theater still has and it'll keep having. And you
have to care about it though.
You have to care about it. Absolutely. Well, that goes back to the great storytelling. I mean, you can't care and connect to the story if you have bad storytelling. You could get away with not so great actors.
Okay.
But if the story's bad, it's bad.
Well, they're the conduit of the story.
Right. Absolutely. But, you know, if you put some horrible words into a great actor's mouth, it'll still sound horrible. And if you put great words into a okay actor, those words can be delivered anyway. That's my take, you know.
And also the lighting and tone is a big movement.
Everything, yeah.
But speaking of a collective experience, I remember we just lived through a weird era of the MCU of needing all these connected points. And you talked about these things. You watched lore videos and hit research. But when I went to go see Endgame, the theater was so packed, people couldn't even find seats to sit together.
Right.
So I'm in the back, and this kid is like in the corner, and this kid from the very first row, who clearly had the worst seat ever, just yells up. I'm never gonna forget this. Yo, Tyrone, you ready? He's like, yeah, bro, let's go. And they're just yelling across this theater. First of all, it's a very New York thing.
Sure.
But also, what movie, what event would you have that? Like they watched probably 100 hours of movies for like 5 years to get to this point. It was just a very cool moment.
Yeah.
You know? And
I felt it when I was, I think episode 7 was the one that I felt like, you know, all the Star Wars kids were like hiding in the caves came out like me. And, you know, we're like, yeah, we're going to have another movie. And then that excitement faded really easily.
Well, you know, like Phantom When I saw Jabba the Hutt animated, I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
Like the coolest thing was that's why 90s Ninja Turtles movies will still hold up.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That Jim Henson animatronic
Right,
face
right.
blew your mind as a kid because all you ever saw them was a cartoon.
Right.
And that was like the best April.
Right.
I think.
You remember Howard the Duck? That's
We're not talking about Howard. We're not talking about Howard. That is by far the weirdest thing.
Isn't it the first MCU film?
So
Technically
no, because
Okay.
it wasn't a Marvel.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't a Marvel studio. The first MCU movie technically is Blade,
Oh, okay. Okay.
which I always thought at the very last. What was it? Endgame. What was the last one? Was it Endgame?
Endgame, yeah.
When they had the massive war, if Wesley Snipes showed up for 2 seconds in that scene of the giant battle, it would have been the biggest fan service of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, forget it.
Yeah,
But, you know, we're also talking, I think growing up, you also learn a lot about intellectual properties. Like you want to see all your characters in a sandbox and they go, no, we own this and they own that and it can't happen.
Right.
And that's when you start realizing like that takes away the magic for me as well. But we're getting a lot of collaborations so far. I think we're getting on there.
Yeah.
On a lighter note, how about Ice Pirates? It was on HBO all the time. I have never heard of Ice Pirates.
I never heard of Ice Pirates. I'm sorry.
In 20 years, no random 30-year-old will be talking about how they connected with some kids movie made today. Do you think so? You don't think Shark Girl and Lava Boy, or whatever that is, Lava Boy, Shark Girl, or whatever?
Is that recent? I thought it was.
That's Rodriguez, isn't it?
Yeah, but it was like, at least 15 years
What's
ago.
a recent kids movie?
Depends what you mean for a kids movie.
What would Luna watch? That's like a kids movie.
I watch all the stuff that I watch.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you guys are raising
Because
kids
we were.
properly.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, if I had kids, I'd be making them watch some of the most ridiculous stuff ever.
Yeah.
I mean, are you kidding me? There's so many amazing things that get lost, and then the cool kids find it, and they go like, "Well, you didn't know about this one clip from this weird movie?"
Right. Which is also another thing, another great thing about well, not great, but it's a thing. I love when I because of one of my 15,000 jobs, I work with high schools a lot. So when I talk to them and they come up with
You're relevant.
keep me relevant, yeah, and they ask me questions related to the new metal genre of the late 90s, early 2000s. I'm like,
It's so bad.
and it's coming back, and I'm like,
Oh,
oh wow, okay, you want to talk Limp Bizkit? Let's talk Limp Bizkit then, So
that mall metal stuff is so bad. It's so bad. Whatever was on the Family Values tour when I was a kid.
right,
No.
right. Well,
Keep
that thing is not gonna come back. We're getting the Warp Tour back, so that's
But let me tell you, the Warp Tour when I was a kid was like a big deal.
that was insane. Yeah,
I mean, you wanted to ride for it.
Yeah.
You were hoping to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And then it turned into like anything else. But
right.
I
Right.
mean, the X Games was like a major thing. We're being recognized. This is
Sure.
a crazy thing. And I was working for magazines back then, shooting slide film.
Yeah,
But I don't think you're going to have anything like that because everything is already exposed to some degree. I think stuff like social media, even if you have 10,000 people plugged into something as subscribers, that might be a small audience, but it's out there.
Right.
You have to find it.
Right.
Like you will, Netflix is literally giving you documentaries on the weirdest sports they can find.
yeah,
They're giving you like dating shows of cultures you never heard
Right.
before. So I think we're just never going to see this like mass audience thing. It's always going to be these like compartmentalized things. And
Right.
we, if you're outside of the culture they're showing, is looking at it more, and this sounds horrible, we're looking at it more like a zoo. Which is kind of how I felt about Comic-Con this year. I felt like there was a lot of people I never would have seen there just taking pictures of like a culture they don't understand of people
Right.
dressing up. And I'm like, yeah, well, you won't be here next year. So
yeah. I mean, I don't want to sound like old man yelling at cloud, but it's just that things are changing dramatically and
fast.
I was one of my very first gigs were gigs more than job was I was working at a video store, and those things have disappeared from the face of the earth very fast.
I'm glad you had that experience though, because like any filmmaker that worked at a video store, they're always
Yeah, because you have
Always
the most
fun.
insane conversations, and then you meet some of the most interesting people.
Yeah, but you know what they don't realize is the copies of stuff you watched are definite. If you stream something today, they've altered it, cut it out.
Yep.
They've messed up with frame rates.
Yeah.
There's Tim Burton stuff that has missing scenes.
Right.
I mean, there's all sorts, but you got to see the one that was delivered to the masses, and that's dope.
When I was growing up, I was a huge fan of Scrubs, and you can't watch that show now with the original score or the original music because they lost the rights to all the songs, so they have to use other songs. And for OG fans like me, it sounds so bad because you're like, this is not the music I was listening to when I was watching it at the time.
Yeah, it's just like when I watch vintage pro wrestling matches, they have to rip all the music out.
Oh,
so
wow.
like literally Sandman from ECW can't come out to Sandman.
Oh.
So you know how weird that is watching that?
So what did he come out to?
It's the most generic royalty-free metal music, and then they put in fake audience noise on top of it.
Oh, wow.
And you're like...
to make it even worse, yeah.
And I don't know if you know about Sandman, but like when he came through a crowd, like everybody's singing with him, so they're all mouthing things that aren't actually happening. I'm like, no one's going to understand what this was like.
Yeah.
Just the crazy energy that at these events, and some of them are movies, and there's vibes and tones. And
Right.
The weirdest movies have stuck in my head just purely from always being accessible. Like if you had Channel 11 here in New York, Cabin Boy played all the time. It's a cult movie that's pretty bad, but you remember every other scene of it because it played like 1,000 times. You know? Oh my, Moana, Coco. Yeah, so that's all animated though. I'm talking about kids movies that are live action actors that like Home Alone stuck with us forever, right?
Forever. And though at one point I had my kid tell me something crazy, which was, is this movie you're going to show me with real people? And I'm like, yeah, man, it's going to have real people in it. That's what movies are, you know. All this, you know, all the movies that, you know, Matthew's mentioned are great movies that my kids have binged a bazillion times, but, you know, I think... And there's great storytelling. There's great, you know, everything is awesome with them for many different reasons, each one of them. But also, you know, when you see someone that it looks like you and it's exactly you and you could be in that person, I think you connect a little bit more. Again, it's tough to find great movies with actors.
The problem with kids' movies is because people want to see return on the money they invest in it, they want IPs that the kids recognize to buy into. So what you end up getting is stuff about like video games, like the Minecraft movie. That's not going to be a classic. That's about a popular video game. You know, you can't, but then when you had Mrs. Doubtfire and stuff like that, you know, like,
well, the new movies that are easier to market because they're attached to something that is already existing. So you don't have to, you know, present it and explain it and market it and make sure that an audience turns up to the theater to watch it by knowing nothing about it. Whereas Minecraft, you know everything about it, you know, already because you're playing it. And then, you know, Mrs. Doubtfire, you were going just to watch, Robin Williams at the time because he was like the biggest actor.
His catalog shaped a generation.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. And
it's crazy.
I'm so grateful I got to grow up with like all these movies. And I'm so glad that my dad stole cable and I just got to watch everything all day. I mean, I that probably shaped my skull like no tomorrow. Are you kidding me? My
parents were taking me to the theaters all the time. Like I was going like almost every weekend to watch a movie. You know,
Brooklyn when I was growing up, in the middle of the day, it was $5.
Oh wow!
So my mom basically treated it like a cheap camp,
like a nanny.
Yeah. She was like, "You're gonna go to the movies for the day," and I love my mom, and she took great care of me. But you have 3 movies a day for $15, maybe?
Yeah. Oh my!
What are you kidding? I was living it.
Yeah.
You know. Oh man, we're hitting time though. But guys, if you want to stay up on anything with Matteo, first of all, he's all over this channel. You just don't know it. He's behind that camera.
Yeah.
But I'm going to get him back in here to do some sort of talk, some sort of demo on run and gun filmmaking or something like that. Check out the Adorama Events channel right here because I put a video together of him talking about filmmaking and Sal DeLee over here talking about filmmaking as one-person crews, and you guys can get into it as well. Those are really, really good. I think that they kind of got glossed over because we have a heavy photo audience, but go check those out on the Events channel. And I want to thank you guys for hanging out with us. We're back, obviously. So next week I got Will Cadena and some other guests lined up. Make sure that you are staying up on all the things on Eventbrite so that you stay up on everything that's streamed out of here on the Adorama Events channel. Daniel will be live tomorrow at 5 p.m. doing Hard Light. And I'm going to...
we're going to work now.
You and me are going to go film something, actually, that you guys will see soon enough. Believe it or not, we're literally going from this... That's why I got to cut it out on time. I want to thank you guys so much. We'll see you down in those comments. If you like this, There are 71 other episodes of this with 71 other guests.
But this is the best one.
Sure.
Someone else said it. I didn't. But
I'm surprised he said yes, because to get this guy to like open up and like be comfortable, but he's like every other filmmaker. Can we have a pre-production call and figure out?
Hey,
what
listen, I just don't want to talk about anything else.
Nah, it's all right. Look, I think that in the end, we're all doing the same thing in different ways, and we're just trying to figure out if we're crazy or not.
Right. We definitely are.
Do you have the same problems I have?
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Go follow him, and I think you have something in a film festival. Am I wrong?
I used to. Now it's in distribution, so it's going to be distributed soon. We don't know yet how to and when, but like we'll definitely follow me, and then you'll be. I'll let you know.
Awesome. Guys, enjoy the rest of your week. I'll see you tomorrow live, 5 p.m. on this channel. And, I forgot. I'm doing a demo next week, Thursday, 5 p.m. I'm actually returning back to shooting live with an actual human being, not Quinn. I love you, Quinn, but, don't talk to my manager. Don't look at her. Don't look at her. I'll see you guys on the next one. Be good to each other. Enjoy the rest of your week. Bye, guys. Oh, hit subscribe.
Bye.